This is Sports Court. Here we settle most contested sports arguments of all time. Matt thinks Duke's Mike Krzyzewski and his 5 championships is the greatest college basketball coach out there. Elena thinks Kentucky's John Calipari could coach circles around him. Sports Court is brought to you by IHOP.
Basketball stars are an ephemeral part of March Madness. They're here one year, they're gone the next. It's just the nature of the sport, but star coaches are here for much longer stretches, and we are here today to decide between two of them. I am confident in one thing. This case will inflame the fan base of whichever one of you loses. We're going to start with you, Elena. It seems to me there is a major problem in your case, and that is that Coach K has 5 national titles. Your client has but 1. Why shouldn't I just rule in favor of Mr. Ufford on that basis?
When you talk about the effect that Coach Calipari has had on the game since he's been involved, since he's been at UMass, at Memphis, and at Kentucky, he's consistently produced winners in a much shorter time than old Coach K has.
But those winners have also come with a, let's call it an NCAA interest, have they not?
Yes, there's been some concern, but the NCAA is interested in all schools.
2 vacated Final Four appearances.
Objection, Your Honor.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that vacations aren't real to the NCAA, who still sells DVDs of said games that didn't happen on their official website.
Well, sure, that's marketed as fiction. It was indeed proven that Derrick Rose did not take his SAT. Just like Coach Calipari didn't write his book on basketball.
Wrong, that was never proven.
If I can introduce this into evidence,
please.
This is Coach K's book on winning. He literally wrote the book on winning, Your Honor.
Can I see that?
That book
please?
is covered in dust, Your Honor. Nobody's ever read
Beyond
that book.
Basketball, Your Honor, because Coach K isn't just a basketball coach. He represents the very notion of winning itself.
And let's talk about that notion of winning.
Something that is not true
that
of
this
Coach Calipari.
leader of men has instilled in his charges since he's been there.
Oh, we got more evidence.
I bring to you a picture of Grayson Allen, this year's darling of a Duke basketball team, a 4-year player, recently found to have tripped players in 2 separate games this season. This is a player that has been under Coach K's care. This guy who teaches all how to win the right way. And this is the right way. This is the Duke way.
Mr. Ufford, this doesn't look like a player who read that book, does it?
First of all, what college basketball player is really reading a book? Second of all, Your Honor, I'm looking at the mountains created by Coach K. I'm talking about 5 NCAA championships, 12 Final Fours.
In his innovation, Calipari has gone from being a premier point guard coach, examples John Wall, Tariq Evans, Derrick Rose, to being a premier big man coach, DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, karl-Anthony Towns. I'm sorry, who are the premier big men, point guards, or NBA pros that Coach K has produced? I have a piece of evidence here, easy enough to procure. That's a silver medal. When Coach K was brought in to coach the USA basketball team, he led them to bronze.
Oh, yes, he led them to bronze. So why'd you bring in the silver?
I brought in the silver because anybody can get a silver when they're playing against Greece.
Ms. Bergeron,
yes.
Nobody has more wins as a Division I coach than Coach K. Why isn't that grounds to give him the high ground in this argument?
He is one of the only coaches to have ever won 38 games in a season, and he's done it twice.
Okay, so let's take that point to you, Mr. Ufford. 38 wins is an awfully lofty achievement as a college basketball coach. Coach K has never achieved that number.
My client is the most recent NCAA champion as well.
That's true.
So I would rather end a season with a championship than 38-1 record, with that last game being a loss. Now, when you look at the big picture, if you're being honest with yourself, Coach K is by far the superior coach, Your Honor.
Ms. Bergeron, I'm just going to ask you straight out. Is your client a cheater?
No.
Mr. Ufford, you disagree?
One final piece of evidence, Your Honor. These 2 sacks of cash represent not only Coach Calipari's 2 vacated Final Fours, but also the $40,000 that was accepted by a UMass player. Let me just make sure that I put that right there.
You said $40,000?
$40,000 in cash and gifts awarded to the best player in UMass history.
I would expect someone who is defending Coach K to have put their money in a FedEx envelope.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
As was found to be the case with Corey Maggette and several of his aides.
Never proven. Objection, Your Honor.
Thank you both very much. I think I've heard all that I need to. Ms. Bergeron, I think it's very interesting that you insist that your client is not a cheater. And while he has never been found himself guilty of any NCAA violations, it is hard to ignore his history of skirting the rules, possibly even outright violating them.
Sir, are you a Louisville fan? I just have to question your proximity.
That is one of the rudest things I've ever heard in this courtroom. Thank you very much. Mr. Ufford, I do think it is perhaps a little naive to suggest that Coach K has never cheated himself, but you're right, the evidence is much more lacking in his direction. That being said, there is one fundamental rule in almost all sport. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. On that grounds, I am giving this case to Miss Bergeron and Mr. Ufford. That's totally out of line. If I wanted that behavior in this courtroom, I wouldn't have disbarred Bobby Knight. Miss Bergeron, congratulations on an excellent argument. I award you with this double-dipped blackberry vanilla French toast from IHOP and congratulate you on your victory. Mr. Ufford, I'm very disappointed in you.
One and done.
Matt, you lost your case. How do you feel?
This is preposterous. The only evidence we saw today is why Ryan Nanny left his legal career for SB Nation.
Watch yourself, counselor.
Elena, you won. How do you feel?
I feel vindicated and as if I should be invited to the Hall of Fame ceremony, which will undoubtedly feature Drake.